Marikina, together with DNR Yusek Beniante Porda, nandiyan sa harapan ngayon. And mamaya po, nandito si DNR Secretary Royce Matu, si MMDA Chairman Benjamin Abalos, and mamaya po, andito rin si Mayor ng Marikina, si Mayor Marcelino Teodoro, and si Undersecretary for Regional Operations in Visayas, NCR, and Region 4, si Sir Roberto R. Bernardo. Yan. So, live tayo ngayon dito. May mga kasama tayong mga media personnel dito sa presscon yan. Kaya, ila-live natin. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Maya-maya lang po, magsisimula na ang presscon about dito sa Marikina River Restoration Launch. So, para saan nga ba itong Marikina River Restoration Launch? So, kung mapapansin nyo, ng mga nakaraang taon na nagkakaroon ng mga bagyo, laging umaapaw itong Marikina na every year na nagkakaroon ng pagbaha dito, matinding pagbaha sa Marikina. So, ito ngayon yung solution ng government para masolusyonan yung pagbabaha dito sa Marikina ay itong dredging na ginagawa dito sa Marikina River. Yan, sabi ni Ma'am Bing Ang, hello Sir, lights on you, good morning. Jack Ruby, good morning dyan sa inyo, lights on you, salamat sa video sharing, salamat din po. Ayan, sabi ni Ma'am Hazel Gonzalez, wow, thank you po for the live streaming from Marikina here. God bless us all. You're welcome po. Thumbs up done, sabi ni Sir Romy Pogi TV. Ayan. Kanina narinig natin sa speech ni Secretary Royce Matu, DNR Secretary Royce Matu, is meron silang nakitang portion itong Marikina River na sumisikip magmula sa Pasig River. At yun yung nagiging dahilan kung bakit bumaba. So nagkakaroon siya ng bottleneck. So ang gagawin niya yun, ang solution is paluluwagan, magkakaroon ng dredging para mas mabilis yung flow ng water. Siguro papalaliman din nila itong Pasig River. Sabi naman Bing Ang, best regards to Miss Kikiam. Salamat Ma'am Bing Ang. Andito si Kikiam ngayon, katabi ko. Mamaya po, masasaksihan na natin ang press con pagdating po nila DNR Secretary Royce Matu, MMDA Chairman Benjamin Abalos, nandito po si Mayor ng Marikina, si Honorable Marcelino Teodoro, and si Undersecretary for Regional Operations in Visayas, NCR, and Region 4, si Sir Roberto R. Bernardo. We're live here, dito po sa Marikina.
Reminder lang po, all TV stations are allowed to bring in 2 crew members, each 1 reporter and 1 camera person. Other media outlets, reporters, photojournalists, and independent bloggers, our partner bloggers, ano lang po, pag magtatanong po, one at a time doon, iurong po yung mic, si Dr. Richie Gali po ang magpapacilitate o mag-moderate ng press conference.
Sabi ni Sir Carla de Mesa, live host tayo, lights on you. Jack Ruby, correct. Deep dredging ang need ng Pasig River. Opo. Bukod sa Pasig River, ito ring Marikina River. Deep dredging ang gagawin kasi may portion daw dito sa may Marikina na sumisikip, nagiging siya bottleneck. So maluwag sa ibang part ng Marikina River, pero dito malapit sa may Marikina, malapit dito sa may SM Marikina, yung part ng river na masikip. Bingang, alam mo sir, lights on you. Kaya binabaha ang Marikina ngayon dahil sa illegal quarrying sa bundok ng Rizal. Agree po ako dyan, Ma'am Bingang. Isa rin yan sa reason kung bakit bumabaha dito sa Marikina kasi yung tubig galing sa mga bundok sa Rizal. Kasi wala nang mga puno. Kaya yung tubig dire-diretso nang umaagos dito sa Marikina. Life and Journey, hello, new here sa live stream mo. Salamat. Salamat po, Life and Journey. Dito na po, dumarating na si Mayor na Marikina. Good morning, Mayor. Nandito sa harapan natin si Honorable Marcelino R. Chidoro, City Mayor of Marikina. Sabi ni Carlo de Mesa, live Kuya Bok Vlogs. Ayan po, si Yusek Benny Antiporda. Kasama niya si DNR Secretary Roy Simatu. Jack Ruby, kumusta na dyan? Carlo de Mesa. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Good morning. We're live here at SM Marikina. Dito po. Ang press con nagaganap ngayon para sa Marikina River Restoration Launch. Nasa harapan po natin si DNR Secretary Roy Simatu. Ayan, kasama rin po niya si Yusek, DNR, Benny Antiporda. Hazel Gonzalez, tama po, disiplinado po ang Marikina lalo sa mga garbage dyan, malinis po dyan. Pero ang mga galing sa upper, kagaya ng Rizal, babagsak sa Marikina. Suffer po talaga ng Marikenyos lahat. Disiplina sana sa Rizal. Yan, sabi po ni Ma'am Hazel Gonzalez. Mamaya po ay maririnig na natin ang usapan dito sa presscon. So, paparating na po yung iba, si and sabi ni Jose Rene, Partosa. Good morning pare ko. Alam nyo bakit bumabaha at umapo ang tubig dyan? Isa diyan ay ang SM Marikina. Ogag at tiniyagan tayuan ng SM. Sana diniretso ang tubig dyan. Tanggalin ang SM dyan. Busy. Sabi ni Life and Journey. Good morning. Good morning po sa inyo lahat. So, ang nasasaksihan niyo po ay ang presko na nagaganap ngayon dito sa Marikina. About dito sa Marikina River Restoration Launch. Kasama rin sa project nito ang DPWH kasi sila yung magpapaluwag sa Marikina River.
In
Alive?
2 minutes, we will start the program.
Patong ko kaya dyan mamaya. Patong ko na rin. Mamaya-maya po hindi na ako magsasalita para marinig po natin na maayos yung press con. Makikinig na lang tayo sa mga tanong ng mga media rito. Meron po ba kayong gustong itanong? Para kung sakali mamaya itatanong natin dito sa press con. About dito sa press con.
Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo, Undersecretary Attorney Jonas Arguones, Undersecretary Attorney Juan Miguel Luna, Undersecretary Attorney Annalisa Arte, Regional Executive Director Janica Angkan, Director Maria Matilda Gali, Assistant Regional Director for Management, Ann O. Orolfo, Assistant Regional Director for Technical Services, Ignacio Almira, Regional Director for Environment and CR, Attorney Don Clemente, Councilor Jojo Banson, Councilor Manny Sarmiento of Marikina, Engineer Jerry Pano, Flood Control Management Cluster, and Engineer Baltasar Bulgar, Director MMDA Flood Control. Good morning, sir. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are gathered here today to hold the press briefing for the Marikina River Restoration Launch. Since the creation of the Task Force Build Back Better, TFBBB, was signed by President Rodrigo Roa Duterte in November 17, 2020. Significant stride on the post-disaster recovery initiatives for the river basins of Cagayan have already started to restore areas and ultimately enabled affected families and communities to bring back stronger and better than ever. These initiatives, according to DENR Secretary Roy Simatu, take on a whole of society approach pursuant to Executive Order number 120 and reflect President Rodrigo Roa Duterte administration's priority on disaster risk reduction and environmental resilience, livelihood restoration, national level support in the response system, in the community level, and of course, support to the local government in the managing their recoveries. Earlier, we have witnessed the initial dredging activities and planting of the bamboo that aims to make Marikina City another priority area of the task force Build Back Better. This Marikina will be flood-free soon. To officially start, may we request everyone to welcome, to help me welcome Secretary Roy A. Simatu for his message.
Good morning again. I'll just follow on of my message to the people down there a while ago. But I would like to extend my thanks to the media. Compared to what we have done in Cagayan, ay kukunti lang kasi ang media nakarating doon. So, magpapasalamat ako with your presence today here. And this is just not usual activity after relaunching a press conference. We will discuss things that will happen, what we expect to happen in the next several days or weeks or months of what we have launched for this morning. But certainly, we will continue to sustain this, and even if, in fact, we have already started a collection of information of why the river downstream towards Pasig ay bakit sumikip ang river. And one very important information that I would like to realize that during the flooding here in Marikina, downstream, doon sa bago makarating ang Pasig River, hindi naman nabaha ang mga doon, daanan ng river. So the reason behind is, nakita ninyo kanina, nakita natin na yung river ay halos hindi gumagalaw. And hindi gumagalaw kasi almost level yung valley here in Marikina Valley, ano? And at the same time, yung pinagtaniman natin kanina ng kahoy, ay yung lupa doon ay galing sa river. And saan galing naman sa river ito? Ito yung nasakasahan ng tubig ng mga lupa sa tabi ng ilog. Ang ibig sabihin ay nag-giveaway yun dahil walang kahoy sa tabi ng river doon sa upstream. And that's also the reason why magtatanim tayo talaga ng trees, especially bamboo, sa gilid ng river upstream and downstream para hindi na maanod yung mga lupa na masagasahan itong river nito. So ito yung nakita natin kanina during that tree planting, yung lupa na pinagbungkalan natin doon ay galing sa river, galing sa eroded portion at the back of the river. So yun lang siguro masasabi ko muna at my message, just to explain to you what we had done this morning, simultaneous launching on both sides of the river, at the same time, yung pagtanim ng kahoy. So with that, maraming salamat, and I welcome you all, and I would like to extend my thanks to you. Maraming salamat.
Thank you very much, Secretary Roy Simatu. At this point, to give his message, ang ama ng lungsod ng Marikina, Mayor Marcelino Teodoro, sir.
Magandang umaga sa ating lahat. Una, ang pasasalamat ng lungsod ng Marikina sa punong tagapagpaganap ng Task Force Build Back Better, Secretary Roy Simatu. To Secretary Mark Villar, our gratitude also as represented here by Sir Bernardo. and to Chairman Benjamin Avalos, as represented here by Engineer Val. Engineer Val incidentally uh, has been with Marikina, undertaking several flood control projects. Ang flooding disaster na nangyari sa Marikina noong nakaraang Nobyembre, nung magkaroon ng bagyong Ulysses, nag-iwan ng isang katotohanan at realidad sa syudad na anumang uri ng pagulan, ang matinding pagbaha ay maaaring maganap, maaaring magdulot ng matinding kapahamakan at pinsala sa lahat. And our local capacity for disaster response, we need to strengthen it. At higit sa lahat, naniniwala ang Marikina na ang pagtutulungan ay mahalaga. A whole of government approach and a whole of society approach is imperative. At nagpapasalamat ang Marikina sa bayanihan pinamalas ng bansa sa tulong ng Pangulo at si Secretary Simato, hindi alam ng lahat. Siya ay nagpunta rito sa unang pagkakataon ng pagbahang yun at nakasama ko siya na punta rito sa ilog ng Marikina because of the siltation, the natural siltation that happened to the river. Marikina River being a downstream river, of course, what is happening upstream, the effect will be downstream. So we realize that it's a river system. It's not an isolated river, standalone river. It's a system. So sabi niya, kailangan natin dredge. And my impression on that is that dredging will be done to widen the river, to deepen it, to get the correct ratio of the widening and the deepening of the river in order to improve the water carrying capacity of the river, Marikina River, and thus improving its water current velocity. As per our target, and based on the DPWH flood control design, we need to achieve at least 4 meters per second of water velocity for Marikina River in order to avoid flooding in low-lying community. Salamat po sa Task Force Build Back Better for suitable, sustainable, long-term, and effective solutions to the perennial problem of flooding to the city. As we've been emphasizing, this is not simply dredging activity on the part of the DPWH, but this is a Marikina restoration activity. I repeat, this is a Marikina River restoration activity, which will not be done only today or in the next 65 days, but it will be a sustainable activity. As we have discussed yesterday in the Office of the Secretary, that the local government is also acquiring some heavy equipment, dredgers, that can be used to continue the dredging activity. And we are embarking on a joint undertaking in planting bamboos of what is suitable for as a slope protection for the embankment of the river. And the city offered a 1 hectare property as a bamboo nursery, so that from that area we could get bamboos to plant for the city. It's not something that we need to buy, that will cost the government so much money, but something that we could help cultivate together in a nursery, and in the proper time we could plant it together. And we're happy also to announce that one of the first from the private sector that will be joining the activity is Shoemart Marikina. As on our way up here, the Shoemart Marikina promised to the Secretary that they will help in the such endeavor. Yung collective trauma at yung community trauma na naranasan natin ng Marikina sa pagbaha, nagpakita ito sa atin ng panibagong vigilance at natutuwa ang lahat po. Secretary Simato, maraming salamat po sa inyong initiative. At di lang ko initiative dahil tulad ng sinabi nyo kanina, hindi lang mandato ko sa inyo. Ito po yung malasakit niyo po para sa mga kapwa Pilipino at para sa buong bansa. Naniniwala po ako sa sinabi nyo kahapon sa akin. At sabi niyo nga po, practical na practical po ang gusto niyong mangyari ni Presidente. By administration, may equipment tayo, may mga tao tayo, we have the engineering brigade from the military that could help us. Nariyan naman lahat ang kailangan natin. So, isang proyekto to na hindi natin pa pinaghihintay ng budget. Isang proyekto to na hindi, wala na tayo hihintay na kung ano bang approval through the task force. We're now moving. Not simply to dredge, again, but to restore Marikina River to its natural topography, being Marikina River, being a downstream river, and being a catch basin, being a valley. It's natural that Marikina will be flooded, but the idea really is to mitigate through this dredging activity by widening and deepening the water channel. Marami po akong gustong pasalamatan po, lalo na po mula po sa DPWH, LMDA, si Secretary Bernardo, kasama po namin siya agad. At let me point also that pag nagkakasama-sama, maganda. Dahil kanina o kahapon, ang problema namin ni Secretary, kung saan itatambak o ilalagay yung mga mahuhukay o matatanggal natin lupa. And with you, Sec Bernardo, suggested that it be dumped inside the city where we need to improve on some areas here in the city by backfilling the said area. No? Nung naroon kami, within a minute, tinawag ni Secretary yung si Regional Director Jackie at sabi niya, Jackie, bigyan mo siya ng ECC kasi hindi ka naman pwede mag-dump ng walang ECC. So we could just now we're experiencing a whole of government approach at this point in time. Maraming salamat po, Secretary. Saludo po ako sa inyo. Thank you very much po.
Maraming salamat, Mayor Marcy.
Teka lang, baka pwedeng pulatigan lang, baka hindi gawin ng MMDA yung DK, hindi ko nabanggit. And also, similarly, banggitin na rin natin, I think it's noteworthy for the media to have this kind of public information. Since Chairman Avalos is also in that instance, hindi naman formal, casual, direct. Sabi niya, sige, meron akong budget sa MMDA, yung mga diking nasira sa Provident Village, and it can be written and it can be announced publicly that by next week, MMDA will start restoring the dike, and with the restoration of the dike, bamboos will be planted along also in that area to further strengthen the area against the disastrous effect of flooding. No? Maraming salamat din po sa MMDA. Ito ho nagagawa ng Task Force Build Back Better under the leadership also, of course, of our Secretary dahil sa kanyang malasakit at yung totoong paggawa. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Mayor Marcy. Sa pagkakataon po ito, tinatawagan ko si Engineer Jerry A. Plano for the plans, programs, and its methodology for the flood control in Metro Manila. Engineer Jerry A. Plano from the DPWH Flood Control Management Cluster.
Thank you very much. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Allow me to present to you on behalf of the Department of Public Works and Highways, Secretary Mark Villar, represented by its alternate representative, Undersecretary Robert Bernardo here, who is very tirelessly working since day one of this task force creation, tirelessly working for the outputs of DPW, especially on the key results area 1, which is to build resilient infrastructures. Para po sa kalaman natin lahat, akin po na tingnan sa board yung aking pong plan or methodology on how we will approach ito pong pag-restore natin and to rehabilitate Marikina River. Hindi po ito totoo na from out of nowhere, we will just dredge it. Gaya po na sabi natin butiing mayor, ito po ay pinagplanuhan and through concerted efforts and weeks of planning and even months of planning, we were able to come up with this plan. Ano po munang bisitahin, ano po ba ang nangyari dito sa parte ng Marikina River during that time? If my clicker allows, let me click it next. Series of slides, pwede po natin pagbasihan. Actually, it is not only Typhoon Ulysses that affected us. You may focus your attention on the screen. Before Typhoon Ulysses on November 11 and 12, 3 typhoons visited us, this area. Typhoon Rolly in November 1 and 2, Typhoon Shoni November 6, and Typhoon Tonyo in November 9. So 4 typhoons affected this area of Metro Manila, specifically this area of Pasig Marikina River Basin, that super saturated our area. Ibig sabihin po, basa na ang ating mga tubig, ang ating kabundukan, ang ating catchment area, and with the passing of Typhoon Ulysses, hindi na po kinaya, and Typhoon Ulysses is more than 1:100 return period of storm. So napakalakas po talaga yan. And so we saw the pictures during the time. Next. Let's just get 2 pictures. We woke up in the morning of November 12, if you may, kung naalala niyo po, that Metro Manila was triggered by a very bad typhoon or flooding that is considered to be highest in recent years. Again, ay kumpara kay Ondoy in 2009. Kung titignan po natin, it happened Ulysses in 2020, just a good 11 years. Nakakatakot po yun. Why? In hydrology, there is what we call probability or incidence, the occurrence of high magnitude typhoons. If a 100-year return period flood would occur bukas, delikado po tayo. If it occur within a 2-10-year span, then masyadong malakas po ang magnitude ng bagyo na dumadalaw sa atin. And with the advent of climate change, there will be more intense, there will be more frequent, and there will be more typhoons coming in the years to come. Ito po ang babala sa atin. That's why we saw in the news, nagulat tayo, baha ang Metro Manila, ang Cagayan, and even Bicol region. And these are the hardest hit provinces that we focus on sa task force that we will devote our effort in mitigating these floods. Next. Nakita po natin ang Rosario Weir. Ito po yung dinaanan natin kanina. If you're coming from Rizal, if you're coming from Pasig, ito po ay punong-puno during that time. And even the man-made Manggahan Floodway, which is a man-made channel, actually to divert the flow of Marikina River, wag na natin padaanin sa Pasig because Pasig River, kapag dinaanan pa ng ganitong kalakas na baha, it will inundate the adjacent municipalities and cities in Metro Manila. But even that Manggahan Floodway was overwhelmed by Typhoon Ulysses during that time. Next. We also saw a floating barge itself was struck para yan po ay maipit at para yan po ay matrap in Marikina Bridge. It means na ang tubig po ay tumaas, hindi na po makadaan yung ating mga floating barge. Even the main thoroughfare of EDSA, it was flooded during that time, rendering it unpassable, and really total flooding in these portions of Metro Manila. Next. And when we try to map it out, tingnan po namin, bakit bumaha at saan ang mga binaha? We saw that the red portions, tingnan na lang po natin yung red portions. These are the flooded areas during that time. The upstream of the Marikina River headwater, coming from Montalban, yan po ay pulang-pula. Bakit hindi po nakadaloy ang tubig baha ng diretsyo papunta sa Pasig River or sa Laguna Libay? At some point, there must be some point of constrictions. May pagbara. And we try to map it out and we try to look at it and we identify this. Yes, next. There are choke points along the Marikina River Basin as identified by the DNR National Capital Regions. Sila po ay nagkaroon ng ground truthing, drone survey and ground truthing. Ground survey, they saw that these portions actually are the narrowest points of the river. Ano po ibig sabihin nun? If the river is a highway, meron pong mabagal na sasakyan na dumadaloy dito. That's why the slowest velocity or speed of that sasakyan will be the speed of the whole highway. Ganun din po sa ating ilog. Kapag merong point of constriction, nasabi po kanina ng ating butihing mayor that we need a good 4 meter per second. Thank you, sir, for that very technical understanding. No, sinabi ni mayor, nakahinga na po ako. Being an hydrologist, we know for a flood water to egress, lumabas, kailangan po natin a good velocity. And that is the project, the point of this Pasig Marikina River Channel Improvement Project under the DPWH. We will be constructing river walls along this line of Marikina and Pasig River. And we have done the phase 1, 2, and 3. Nasa phase 4 na po tayo this year. And I hope and we pray na ito po ay ma-implement so that we can increase the velocity of our river. Next. And when translated, we saw that from the old Namria map, this is the old map, ito po yung basihan natin ng mga ano ba ang alignment ng ating ilog. We saw that there are constrictions and even sandbars. These are the natural deposition of rivers, accretion of the soil, deposition of sediments in the river that form as a landmass inside. Lumiliit na po ang ibig sabihin, sumisikip na ang ating kailugan, and we need to remove this, to rehabilitate and to restore the Marikina River. Next. From that image, pumunta naman po kami sa DNR, NCR, and the LRA, and we were able to identify these lots, these properties, these parcels of lands that go inside the river. Ang record po niya nasa atin sa DNR, and this we try to enumerate. We have a list of this and we try to look at this. For simple understanding po, yung pula, yan po yung category 1 na tinatawag natin. Meaning, ito po yung mga lupa-lupaan na nasa ilog that is both unclaimed and untitled. And we try to focus in removing these red parts or parcels of lands. Okay? So with this understanding and with this knowledge, we come up with a dredging plan. And we will go into that next slide. For the river plan or the dredging plan of Marikina River, we were able to come up with the priority, phase 1 of the dredging. Ano po ito? Actually, 4 sites po yan. Kasama, if we are in SM Marikina now, the part of this sandbar just in front of us sa ilog, yan po ay part of the sandbar also. We will try to cut and tatabasan po natin. But as it is, we identified 3 big sites. Site A, Site B, and Site C. Site A, being yung Olandes sewage treatment plant po na tinayuan natin kanina, this is the priority site for phase 1 of the project. Then we will go into that Site C, which is the East Metro Terminal part natin, and then the Site B, which is the Marikina, SMCT Marikina part of the sandbar. Next slide. If we had to look at each and individual sandbar, makita po natin dyan yung area. Ito po yung natawag natin na surface area. But do not be misled. Ang liliit naman yan, no. Surface area represents only the part that you can see from the satellite image. Just like the iceberg that sunk the Titanic, malawak po ito sa ilalim. In fact, we were able to compute the volume to be dredged for each and individual. For Site A, around 53,000 cubic meter. For Site B, around 25,000 cubic meter. And for Site C, we have a good 15,000 cubic meter. To give you an understanding, ang isang dump truck po is just 10 cubic meter. The big dump trucks, and we're talking here of thousands of volumes of cubic meter to be dredged. Is it an easy work? No, we have to admit. It is a hard work, and we will do it systematically with the help of DPWH equipment and with the augmentation of the AFP through its army and through its Navy, the CBs. Next. For the Site A, this is the focus that we first focus natin kanina, yung ating pong inaugurate, around 53,000 cubic meter. Next slide. This is the site that we identified. We actually would like to make a limit of 5-meter easement. So meron po tayong alignment ng project that will come on later in the last quarter of this year. Magsisetback po tayo ron around 5 meters. Why? So that we will not disturb yung pathwalk doon. We will not disturb the alignment of the sheet pile where it will be driven and where the dike will later stand on. So yan po ang ating alignment. Next. And as we speak, yung ating pong mga tao sa ground, they are laying yung mga staka and the pole so that we will be able to identify. Next slide is the Metro East Metro Terminal right under the bridge. Ito po, this also a sandbar form around 25,000 cubic meter. it has to go. Next. That is the condition at Site C. Next slide. What is our dredging design? Ano po ang strategy that we will employ for the dredging? Next slide. For this dredging, ang ilog po ng Marikina, we are very thankful malalim. Around 10 meters or 8 meters on the average ang lalim ng tubig Marikina po natin. But when you go down sa Pasig River, around 5 meters, nagiging kalahati ang lalim. Ang luwang po is around 70 to 80 meters. The design should be around 90 meters. So, what we will do, we will dredge. Huhukayin po natin yan ng 8 meter deep and another 2 meter. For the highest water level, we will allocate a freeboard. Ito po yung freeboard na 2 meters para po hindi umapaw. Sakali ulit dumaan ang isang bagyo na katulad ng magnitude ni Ulysses. So this is the strategy of dredging as presented to us by the Bureau of Equipment through Director Noel Ilaw of the Bureau of Equipment. They prepared this one. Next. Ang mga sandbars and the siltations that we have, nakita po natin kanina that is the ideal condition in a laboratory. But kung titignan po natin ang kailugan natin, it is already silted by its riverbed, masyado na pong mataas at mababaw. And with the sandbars formed at both banks, ito po yung ating tatargetin for 10 meter depth of dredging. And when we remove this will not only increase the water capacity of the river, but will also improve the water quality of Marikina River. Next. For the volume computation, gaano karami ba ang ating mahuhukay for each site that is presented as prioritized? You have the corresponding volume to be dredged. Total volume around 95,000 cubic meter. Next slide. And for the dredging implementation, you may ask, gaano katagal ba ito gagawin? We have here the schedule and the kind of equipment that will be needed. So far, and as we speak, the DPWH, through its National Capital Region, through Director Eric Ayapana, and its able 9 district engineering offices has committed around 20 dredging equipment, and yung contribution pa ng Army, a good around 30 heavy equipment will be deployed for this operation. When we started Build Back Better Task Force, sa Cagayan po, we devoted around 40 heavy equipment, dredgers and hauling equipment dump trucks. Ang tanong namin, kaya ba natin i-sustain? Thankfully, when we have this call for the deployment of equipment, the Army through its AFP through its Army and its Navy, together with the district engineering officers of the DPWH, heeded the call and they deployed their own equipment. So thankfully, if we can do it for Cagayan, for Marikina, next third part will be in Bicol, we will also do the same. The total activities, we have here the amount of equipment and the amount of fuel to be consumed to sustain this dredging equipment. Thankfully po, part of this planning is the allocation of resources in order to sustain this operation. Next. All in all, gaano katagal? We will devote a good 1 to 3 months of operation. If we start by this February, and as we speak, habang nandito po tayo, hindi po ceremonial lang yung nakita nyo kanina, and as we speak, gumagawa na po yung ating mga equipment. And they will be there in the coming days. Ano po makikita natin? There will be dredging operations. There will be hauling of spoil sites. There will be hauling of dredge material to the spoil sites, both in Lupang Arienda that we have identified and in the proposed barangay Nangka by this good LGU, the City of Marikina. Maraming salamat po. And by the end of April, we will see a significant accomplishment of this dredging activity in time. Tama-tama, pagdating po ng Mayo, Hunyo, yan po ang pasukan na naman ng bagyo. That's why we will see the effect of this. And next slide, the methodology to be used, ano po ang gagawin natin? Sige po, this is some sort of a animation. Just click on the next slide. If this is the sandbar, hindi po kasi mainam na we have to allocate areas first, and we divide it into 12 segments or 12 blocks as we call it. Ito po yung strategy natin. First, we will do the downstream. Why? If we do it in the upstream, as presented by the Bureau of Equipment, there will be some flow and it will destabilize the sandbar, making it very dangerous para po sa ating mga operators. That's why we will do it in downstream. And you can see, nakita nyo po, yung ating pong ground clearing sandbar natin, hindi po stable. We will do it from the land side. We will allocate excavators, mga backhoe, and then together with the hauling equipment, yung mga dump trucks tatabi, and because these are long reach arm backhoes and even backhoes that can go inside the river and come out, amphibious po tawagin natin yung pwede sa lupa, pwede sa ilog, they will just place it on the hauling equipment to be transported or hauled in our designated spoil site. Sige po. So you can have an image of what we will do in the coming days. Sige lang po, pakiclick. You will see that we will do it block by block. Put it in a temporary spoil bank like that or piling. But if the soil or the ground allows, we can immediately put it in the dump truck. Kasi po, nung nasa Cagayan is all a different riverbed material, sandy, loomy, meaning hindi po nahihirapan po yung mga dump trucks natin, especially with the wheeled ones. Nahihirapan po. So for this, nakita naman natin mukhang stable dito. We can always, we can readily put it on our dump trucks to be hauled at designated spoil sites. Next. So there will be also dewatering time. Alam naman po natin that ang hauling natin ay by land. Kailangan po natin patuyuan, and this will actually slows the operation a little. Why? Hindi po natin pwedeng ilagay yung parang nilugaw na dredge material immediately into the dump truck at ibabiyahin natin. Tayo po ay pagagalitan ng mga LGUs na dadaanan natin. Magpuputik po. And it will damage the roadway. That's why we have to do it. Let it set for the meantime, care of water, dewatering it before we haul it out. Next. And there will be the equipment to do that. Next. Sige po, animation na lang yan. And siguro yung last part ng presentation will show you the equipment that we have mobilized and deployed so far. Sige po. We have this equipment coming from our DPWH NCR regional equipment facilities in Bicutan, na-transport na po ito, and you might have seen, nakita niyo po yung dalawang malaking amphibious excavator, and these are actually the ones that will do the bulk of the work. Next. Sige po, so you can just click on it and makita niyo po the equipment that we have. Like I said, around 30 equipment to be deployed in this site. When we started this po, ang sabi sa amin ni Secretary Mark Villar sa DPWH, never leave any stone unturned in terms of flood mitigation and in deployment. Utilize the resources that we have in DPWH in order to assist the flood affected people. Ang totoo po, with this kind of project, many would have a say or two na wala naman kami nakikita or dapat kalsada or dapat tulay. We can always do those things, those projects. But you know, when it comes to the context of flood mitigation, building a culture of prevention is never easy. Napakahirap po. In fact, the benefits, ano ba yung makikita natin dyan? We might not see it now. But the cost of prevention will be visible in the distant future. In fact, these benefits might not be tangible, hindi pa natin makita. But actually, the benefits will come in the form of the disasters that we will prevent happening in the future. And with that, Secretary Mark Villar, as presented by Undersecretary Robert Bernardo, sir, we have delivered our equipment here. Secretary Roy Simato, we were together in Cagayan, and we rolled out our equipment. The equipment are here again, sir. They are ready for your disposal. Lead us, and we will roll as one. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Engineer Jerry A. Pano, Flood Control Management Cluster of the MMDA. Muli, ang mga narinig ko pong opisyal ng gobyerno ay si DNR Secretary Roy Matu, Marikina City Mayor Marcelino R. Teodoro, DPWH Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo, Engineer Baltasar Melgar, Director ng MMDA Flood Control, Undersecretary Benny D. Antiporda, Undersecretary Attorney Jonas Ariones, Undersecretary Attorney Juan Miguel Puna, Undersecretary Ed Leonardo, Undersecretary Drew O. Sampurna, Undersecretary Rodolfo C. Garcia, Undersecretary Adelisa de Puertate, Assistant Secretary Daniel Miser, Regional Executive Director for NCR, Jackie Kaadkan, ARD Al Orolfo, ARD Ignacio Almira, Director Tucci Gadi, Director Rolly Castro, EMD Director for NCR, Attorney Don Clemente, Councilor Jojo Banson, and Councilor Manny Sarmiento of Marikina, Engineer Medel Chua of DPWH Metro Manila District, Engineer Eric Ayatano, Regional Director, DPWH NCR, Brigadier General Gabriel Viray of AFP, and Mr. Melvin A. Cruz from the Office of the Mayor. Sa pagkakataon po ito, magkakaroon po tayo ng open forum at ang magmomodulate po sa atin ay walang iba kundi ang tinaguriang pambansang basurero ng Pilipinas, Undersecretary Benny D. Antiporda.
Good morning, everybody. Question, pakilagay lang sa gitna yung microphone, please, para today, iurong na lang, harap na lang dito. So, pakitaas na lang po yung kamay ng mga magtatanong, please. Okay, please. Felix Tapongo. Yan lang, okay. Pag-identify na lang.
Good morning po, Felix Tampong po from DCRC. We say good morning, Secretary. Sir, yan pong activity na banggit nyo kami na may portion yung lower part ng Marikina na almost 40 plus ang labak ng ilog. So may plano na rin po doon. Maliban dito kasi yung continuation ng irrigation. Part of Pasig. Ayun.
Hindi masyado marinig. Sige.
Ayun. Out of Pasig po yun. Yung binabanggit nyo kami na almost 40 plus na lang meters yung wide ng ilog. So, ano pong plano ron? Karugtong na rin po ba siya? Diretso na ng rehab ng Marikina kapelito na ron.
Ganito yan. Tama yung sinasabi nilang analogy kanina. Nag-umpisa ka yan sa halimbawa, dito nga, 4 lane dito, pagdating mo doon sana mag-1 lane na lang, kasi mag-slow down talaga dito. Pag nag-slow down, bahana yung mangyayari yan, hanggang hindi niya may tapon ulit yung mga tubig, dahan-dahan rin. So yung 40 meters na nangyari ngayon doon sa baba, ay yun that caused the flooding dito. Otherwise, kung tuloy-tuloy yan, magkarating ka dyan, hindi mag-flood dito. Diretso yung tubig sana. Kaya yun ang ating effort. Okay. Tinanong mo na yung 40 meters na yan, anong gagawin? Tingnan natin, mawawiden. Kasi may mga iba dyan, may mga 4% dyan. Ayan sa may na Pasig. So, pag-usapan namin dito, yung National Housing Authority, kung pwede din lang ma-priority to be relocated para ma-widen lalo yung, kasi nandun sila eh. Ito yung lugar na sinasabing 40 meters. So ito ngayon ang ating number 1 concern para naman tuloy-tuloy yung agos ng tubig. Isa pa, may mga structures dyan, lagay pa nga sila ng mga sementado na dyan eh. Dapat may easement sana yan na 3 meters, wala na. Tubig na kagad, tapos pader. Ay, hindi pwede yun. Talaga mag-demolish ito. 3 meters, easement. We have to say that in the easement law, no structure will be built 3 meters sa bank of the river. So yan ang tikitan namin, kaya sumikip na talaga yung nandun. And likewise, find out kung paano sila nagkaroon ng titulo mga ito. And in fact, we are coordinating with JLRA kung paano nagkatitulo at saka yung DNR kung paano nagkatitulo dito. Dapat kasi di ba tituluhan yan tabi ng river. Sige, yun lang ating magagawa ngayon. Tinignan mo kanina yung plano dito sa Marikina. Ano lang ito? Umpisa pa lang ito. Pero as we go down, makikita natin sumisikip na yun, then we'll already enforce the law, easement law. Salamat.
Para President, with regards to kasi naging nasisisi kasi yung nagpari ba, isa na lang. Yes.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Pagka may back 2018 plus Ulysses, laging may sisihan. At ang pinaka-palagi ng sisi po yung kasaldo ng Marikina Watershed, illegal quarry operation na nagre-resulta sa quarrying activity suspension. So, nag-create po ang DNR through the Mines and Geoscience Bureau ng tatlong composite team to conduct an investigation with regards to quarry. So, ano na pong update dito at meron na po bang final report yung composite team? Maraming salamat po.
Again. Sige, ano?
Yung quarry suspension, may report na po ba yung composite team na nilikha nung MGB? DNR through the Mines and Geoscience Bureau.
Yes, basically, nakikita naman nila when it comes to quarry, no? Very minimal. Yung, of course, may silt din ang gagaling sa kanya. Pag umulat, natural na tatanga yung iba na pupunta rin sa ilog. But very minimal. Basically, when it comes to flooding issue, ang talaga nagiging problema is yung talagang galing sa tuktok na naging mga subdivision na ngayon. So, isang malaking dahilan yan. And of course, yung climate change natin. And ito na nga, nire-retrieve natin yung mga easement na para sa bayan talaga. Makikita naman natin, marami na talaga encroachment dito sa ating river. Kung kaya ibabalik natin ito, no? Then after that, makikita natin talaga yung malaking pagbabago nitong problema natin sa flooding.
Thank you very much po.
Okay. Please, next question, please.
Good morning po, Lumisa po from TV4. Nabanggit niyo po sa tatlong sites, yung Barangay Olandes, parang there are informal settlers po na maaapektuhan. Na-mention niyo po kanina, Secretary, na may plano na po ang NHE regarding this. Saan po ba sila i-relocate? And mga ilang residente po ba yung maaapektuhan?
Dito sa aming task force, composed mga 14 member secretaries and cabinet. At kasama nito yung ano dito, yung si Secretary Escalada, yung
NHA po.
yes, ito yung relocation na pagre-relocation sila. Pinaano ko na, direct ko na sila, napuntahan yung community na ito. At somewhere dito sa may, lampas na ng Marikina baba na, sa Pasig side na ito. So yun ang pupunta natin, include Santolan side. Ito yung mga ganyan almost 500 families yata yung inisyak na ano ito. So we'll advise them, we find out really itong next effort na nito kasi na-considerate kami sa Manila Bay, yung mga informal settlers doon. This time, I think this will be first time talaga na mangyayari rin dito because of the flooding dito. Ang na-flooded dito sa Marikina River, pero yung mga nandun, hindi sila na-flooded doon kasi yung mga informal settlers. Pero kung paluwagan natin yan, hindi na masyado mag-flood dito. So ito ngayon ang gagawin natin. We'll make a program for the relocation. Now, it depends now on the relocation administration to plan kung saan sila maaaring pupuntahan.
Secretary, to make it clear lang po, yung iba kasi, nabanggit nyo kanina na parang may titulo po yung lupa na yun. Ano ba, i-investigahan po kung paano sila nagkaroon ng titulo dun sa lupa na yun?
Sir, yung iba raw ho na nagkaroon ng ng titulo, yung kanilang lupa, na alam natin hindi naman dapat magkatitulo, i-investigahan daw po ba natin?
Dalawang bagay yan kung paano sila nagkatitulo. Unahin namin sa DNR mismo. Check namin kung paano sila nagkaroon ng titulo. we will be going investigation ito kung sino yung mga nandyan noon, kung how come they were able to get the title. Kasi hindi pwede patituluhan dyan sa, ano dyan during the time na magkakatituluhan. So pangalawa, tignan rin natin kung what happened along the way. And they are, in fact, dito sa Marikina River, lahat ng mga titles dyan, nakunan namin lahat. And in fact, part of the river dito may titulo Yung tubig na mismo, may titulo na yan. Kasi minsan kasi nagbago yung yung kurba ng river. So, dati may titulo ito ng tubig na, yung bakante naman sa kabila, naging title down. So, meron yan a way of legally doing all these things,
Last na po, Secretary, yung budget na lang po for this project, how much po yung budget natin and saan po natin nakuha? Kasi pinirmahan po ng Pangulo, how much po yung budget for the restoration po ng Marikina? Or
Well, actually, katulad rin ito sa components ng mga projects na gagawin, itong by administration ito, yung DPWH ay meron na silang built-in kasi nandyan sa Executive Order 120 na whatever is existing budget of the department na involved dito sa dredging ay they will use their own budget initially. Now, in the meantime, ang report naman ng Secretary of the DPWH ay they have enough fuel para dito. So nakikita natin, pinarada na nila yung mga equipment nila mga bago, brand new. So, pati Army, nakita naman ninyo, yung Army equipment na dyan, i-share ang budget ng fuel para pag dito. It will, initially, walang budget ito. Coming from lang muna, initial resources, available financial resources na nandiyan sa appropriations nila. Ito ngayon, gagawin natin ito. Now, in kaso na magkukulang ito, I directed them to submit to me, to the task force, yung ilan ang magkano magastos nila along the way. Let's say kung mag-spill over ito ng next year, ay lalagyan na ng appropriations ito. Pero ito ngayon, as of now, walang budget estimate dito. Yung lang, katulad yung sinasabi ko kanina, na yung food for work, na ipapaano doon sa mga livelihood, yung katulong lang nila dyan, ay this will also be taken by from the DSWD. Meron rin sila yatang budget ito. So in the event na kukulangin ng mga ito, we will ask sa Malacanang for additional funding.
last na po, Secretary, 65 days po yung target natin. May nakikita po ba tayong challenge para hindi makamit yung 65 days target?
Ang challenge na lang rito is relate to do something for the river. Na talagang restore natin, dagdagan natin ng lalim para mas malaki quantity ng water volume na ma-absorb ang river during a downpour. Kasi mababa na kasi yung mga iba parte ng river. Titignan natin lahat yan, the challenge. At saka yung ating masolve yung mga illegal structures sa tabi ng river. These are the challenge as far as you're concerned and the DPWH side at saka yung the legal way for telling them to be relocated naman ito sa mga informal centers.
Thank you. From the region, sir.
Good morning. Nilang Tuber from Daily Video. Itatanong ko lang po kung nasunod po yung proper alignment na hinihingi ng LGU ng Marikina. Kung yun po ang susundin natin.
Yung proper alignment daw na hinihingi ng LGU na Marikina kung nasunod daw po. Yung alignment daw po ng river.
Ang sabi ko nga, yung alignment depends on the history of the river kasi gumagalaw yan. Now, itong alignment, we have several documents. In fact, we have documents at the cadastral survey of 1911. Nandyan yun. So, nandyan yung mapa ng river na yan eh. Sana kung kaninong lupa ang mga nandyan eh. Now, nagkuha rin kami ng alignment using the satellite in 1980. Then, from 1980, every 5 years, nandyan yung satellite photo na gumagalaw eh. Yung, so, ngayon ay every time na may nagbabago yung katulad rin sa Cagayan River. Minsan dito siya, tapos lilipat siya. So ito ngayon yung mga pinag-reconcile na nila ito, tapos with the involvement of the local government units. So ano naman yan, nagre-reconcile naman yan. Pero yung sinasabi mo, what could be the proper line na ngayon? Merong task force na parang team na ginawa ko to come up with the recommendations para ito. In conformity with the NAMRIA, yung cadastral survey ng DNR, at saka yung may mapapad na rin ng local government unit.
Last na lang po,
Yung for reconciliation.
may exact figure na po tayo kung ilan po yung mga illegal structures at mga reclamation areas na aalisin po natin anong waiver.
I request the NCR who is in charge of this, for council this.
Sure.
I would like to interject with the question of Luis and Neil. Yung illegal structure, for a fact, wala namang illegal structure na tatanggalin o informal settlers dito sa initial stage. Malinaw yun kasi it might bring about panic in the adjoining community considering that Marikina has suffered recently the effects of Typhoon Ulysses, so we don't want to aggravate the pressure on the part of the nearby community. Initially, my understanding based on the map presented by Jerry here, ito yung planong susundan humihingi rin ako. Nakita natin yung site A, B, and C, So, walang informal settlers doon. So, when the Secretary said that there are some informal settlers that will be affected, this is further downstream in Pasig, along Pasig River in the Pasig area. So I think the Secretary has an inventory of this and social preparations are being done, consultation with the communities concerned. And I think Director Jackie here is the one being tasked to undertake such consultation for those communities affected. So let us be clear on this matter. For a fact, there will be no displacement and no demolition of informal settlers at the initial stage on this part of the Marikina River. Kasi there are no existing. Meron marahil na ilang reclaimed area on the eastern terminal side, on the other side of the bank. And yun yung side B and side C in the map. Kung titingnan nyo kanina, titingnan nyo natin yung map.
Malayo yun.
Baka kasi misdirected yun na. Ang sinasabi sa atin, magdi-dredge pa doon sa baba. Dahil hindi pwedeng hindi mag-dredge kasi ang principle parang highway. We need to maintain the speed on the highway. Pag yung highway naging local road, yung national highway naging maliit na alley, talagang magkikipot at babagal yung takbo ng traffic. Similarly, we're applying the same principle for the Marikina.
Sino? With regard po dun sa reclamation area, yung kay Congressman Bilfiat, matatanggal mo ba yung matatamaan yun dun sa natin?
Yung sagutin ko rin kanina. So, I agree po yung sinasabi po ni Mayor, yung ginawa po ng DNR-NCR is to map it and get the actual drone survey, yung ginawa namin, drone and then patong yung mga mapa. So, we identified po 3 areas po, which is the sites of today's event. So, wala po talagang na yung sinasabi natin ISF or anything structure, it's just a landmass na sa part ng So, yung sinasabi po ni Secretary, we have already done kasi yung pababa, downstream, going to Pasig, and we have seen na may mga ISF that will be addressed as part of the activities of the Task Force BDB going downstream na nagiging bottleneck. So, yun po yun, yung sinabi ni Mayor is yung the areas, the sites today. Yun po yun.
With regard po dun sa reclamation area, tatamaan po ba yung BFCP na tinatawag kay Congressman Liu? Dito lang yata malapit sa Marikina.
So yung in-identify po ng mahabang proseso po ang ginawa ng DNR-SCR, no? And for the survey, lahat na po, research sa LRA and also the Assessor's Office. So inuna po namin, kinategorize muna namin yung mga safe areas, meaning untitled. So yung untitled po, it is public land. So yun po ang prioritize, which yung sites na tinuro natin yung tatlo. So the others would be dealt with depending on, ito na nga po yung sinasabi ni Secretary kanina, that will be reconciled, harmonized, may mga tinitignan tayong parameters. So yun po yun. So yung inactionan po ngayon are untitled property which belongs to the government.
So yung BFCP, untitled po yun o titled?
May mga portion po doon na nasa tubig na ina-identify. So we are still harmonizing po all the records. All the records po from us, from the LRA, as well as from the Assessor's Office.
Okay, thank you po.
So that is Regional Executive Director of the DNR NCR, Jackie Kaanukan, C-A-A-N-C-A-N. Okay? Para kilala nyo. So next question please. Okay, please.
Good morning po, Secretary. Other questions. Sir, we were able to interview some of the residents dun sa Barangay Olandes kanina. Nakausap po namin sila. They were hopeful na masosolve na po yung flooding problem sa lugar nila every time na may downfall. However, they are appealing na kasi daw po dun sa plano sa Site A, it appears na maapektuhan yung landmass na tinataniman nila so far. Ang sinasabi nila bakit daw hindi po ang i-excavator, ba't daw po hindi ang i-dredge ay yung nasa kabilang side, which itinambak lang naman daw in the recent years, hindi naman daw po yun. And yun daw po yung, sa tingin nila, yun daw po yung cause ng pagpunta ng tubig sa Olandes community every time na may downfall.
Kanina naka-address mo question.
To Secretary Sematu or anyone authorized.
Historically yung nangyari dito sa ano? Sino na magkakaano yan? Hindi ko masyado kabisado itong what happened in Marikina.
Maybe yung appeal po kasi nila bakit daw po hindi yung kabilang side nung side A, yung i-dredge, kasi kung yung ang nasa plano daw po maapektuhan yung mga tinataniman nila, pinakikinabangan daw po nila yon following the Ulysses impact. Doon daw po sila kumukuha ng dagdag na income, pagkain,
Kung bakit nagtatanim tayo sa ano, hindi naman sa kabilang tanang ano?
No sir, bakit daw hindi yung kabila yung hukayin? Instead of yung part na
Lahat naman yata, both sides naman ang hulayin eh.
sa side A, sir.
Both sides yan, both sides. The dredging is ano, nakita niyo yung drawing kanina na gano'n. Meaning kung anong lalim dito, yun rin ang lalim dito sa kabila. Kasi yung kanina,
maybe would like to clarify kasi sir sa picture yung red portion was only on the left.
Pwede basa ko
Yes, sir.
yung tanong mo.
Thank you, sir.
Lahat po na ito ay pinag-aralan. Sabi nga po ni Director Jackie Cancan kanina, sinabi ito, marami pong ginamit ang dokumento dito. At tiniyak namin na lahat po ng dating panahon pa, na 1980 pa yata yun, ibig sabihin yun po yung formation ng river. No, na-survey po namin yan, we take it into consideration. Lahat po na yan buhukayin, lahat po na yan tatabasan. Wala po tayong dito, i-accept. Kaya po kahit sino po yung dito, andyan po si Mayor. tinutulungan po tayo. Kahit naman po lumalabas na, yung po kanina narinig ko po kay Mayor, na yung lahat ng mga displays ay umiisip po ang ating munisipyo, ang ating city government, kung paano matutulungan yung mga tao na naapektuhan. Yung po narinig ko po kay Mayor kanina, at maganda po ano yun, na hindi naman po mati-display siguro yun. Bibigyan po ng city government ng karampatang trabaho kung mga nag-display sila.
Alright. So last,
Opo, lahat po ng ano, basta po kumros po doon sa linya na dinefine po ng DNR, na sinabi po ng LRA, mga walang titulo, yung mga nag-encroach talaga sa river, yun po tatanggalin lahat.
last na lang po. We're making sure po no na magiging consistent yung 90 meters with across the river system. Tama po ba?
Marami pong challenge dyan sa 90 meters. In fact, hindi po namin pwedeng itago na meron pong minsan may mga tulay na yan na nagawa pa ng mga unang panahon, meron nga pong tulay dyan, 65 meters lang. Pero we are addressing that problem. And in lieu of that, ano po, siguro, yung kung ano man po yung epekto noon, ang DPWS po ay nag-iisip ng mga pamamaraan para po makompensate po kung ano man po yung volume o kung ano man yung nakaharang na yon, gagawa po kami ng paraan. As much as possible, we want. Pero hindi po tayo 90 meters ha. Maaari po kung ano po lumabas na linya ng survey, yun po ang susundin namin. Hindi po marami po tayong medyo magtatagal tayo kung ano na lang po yung alignment na binigay po ng DNR base po sa kanilang mga datos sa LRA, hindi mga may titulo. We will take that into considerations at yun po ang gagawin namin, huhukayin namin.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, please.
Morning po, Bianca Dapat ng ABS-CBN News po. Mag-follow up lang po ako sa questions ng Tribune and DB5 po. To clarify lang po, kanina site A, Olandes, where we were kanina, yun po yung i-dredge, tama po ba? Yung area na yun, kung saan tayo kanina.
Yes.
Pero yung other side po nun, kasama po ba yun or hindi po?
Kung nakita niyo mo doon sa kabilang side, may equipment po kami kanina na gumagawa na doon. Hindi niyo po ba napansin yung equipment namin doon sa may tulay? Nasabay pong naguhukay.
Pero sir, kasi kanina po sa presentation, yung sa may site A ay ditong site lang po.
Kagaya po ng sinabi ko kanina, kung ano po yung alignment na nakita natin na nag-encroach po doon sa linya ng river, tatanggalin po natin and i-operate po namin ng equipment. Makikita nyo tatlong site po yun di po ba ABC? So napansin nyo kanina sa presentation,
Yes,
yun po ang initial phase lang. But later on, we will wait for the DNR identification kung alin po yung susunod namin dito. Dire-diretso po ito.
So sir, you're saying po natatamaan din eventually yung sa kabilang side nun?
Opo. Kung po yun ay pumasok sa linya na dinefine po ng survey ng DNR, kasama po yun sa aided dredge.
Okay. Dito sir sa project natin, are we going to follow po yung original alignment and yung natural course of the river?
Wala po kami pasyan sa original. Ang pasyan po natin ngayon, yung survey po natin ngayon na ginagawa, kung ano po yung i-define, nung po nasa linya talaga. Hindi ko po masasabi na alignment ng river, nagbabago po yan Pero base po sa survey, yun po ang aming basihan. Nasa datos po ito. Siyempre, meron po coordinates ito. Meron po linya. Yun po ang basihan natin. Hindi po yung kung saan dumadaan yung tubig. Siyempre po, kung nakikita ninyo, may mapa po Kung napansin niyo po, may mga coordinates. So yun po ang susundin natin.
Thank you po.
So, if there's no more questions, siguro kaya na tayo ng tanghalian. Pagka-alis 12 na. Thank you very much, everybody. Hirap. So, mag-lunch na po tayo. Thank you very much, Secretary Sir, Mayor, Yusek, and of course, Director. Thank you very much.
Okay, so
Maraming salamat po. Diyan po nagtatapos
dito
ang
na po
ating press
nagtatapos
briefing.
ang
Maaari na po
ating
tayong
press con briefing dito sa Marikina River Restoration Launch, February 17, 2021. Thank you so much. Bye.